I think I'm live on Facebook. So, hi guys. Iryna here. I am doing my Facebook Live challenge. Today's day 5. I took a day off yesterday and I was walking in the woods today and I was had a time for a nice hike and I was thinking, well, what can I do my life today on? So, I thought I'm going to talk about kind of what I work with clients on, what's really my process has been about, what kind of clients I usually work with or work a lot about with, and how I help them. So, and it also ties into my own story about chasing outward success, something that looks like success outside, and feeling really, really empty in it once I achieved it. So I work with a lot of I call them high achievers, right? A lot of people here in the Bay Area can identify with that. And it's because it's my own story as well. I was always straight A student, was gifted with some good brain and pretty high intelligence, I guess. Always identified with my mind and my intelligence. I was called like mega brain and as a joke as a very funny nickname in high school. Mega brain, yeah, that was because I was just smart and intelligent, and it took me so far because I could get A's at school, I could get on top of my class. But it also created like a big trap for me where I started to really rely on that validation and that achievement as a source of love and acceptance. So, what happens for a lot of high achievers like myself is that we start achieving pretty young, and if our need for attention, love, and delight is not met, we we start. It's like close. What is it like? It's how we get that need met. So our need for love, attention, and delight is not met, but we notice that okay, when I start achieving, when I bring good grades from school, then mom and dad is happy, and so I get some attention and I get some love, validation, and it feels better than not having any at all. So then, because we can't get unconditional love, we're not seen for just our being, we're not really validated for who we really are inside of our being, we start being validated for our achievement and we start to identify with that. We learn pretty quickly, oh, that's how I get my needs met. That's how I feel loved and valuable and important is when I achieve, when I, for my clients who are athletes, then, when they win a race or a game, they get this like validation and admiration from their parents. And because they're not validated and admired and delighted in without that achievement becomes basically addictive. It's addictive because it's also gives us fulfillment of it's not real fulfillment of our need for love, but it's a very it's what replicates it, and we settle for that because we know we can't get unconditional love for just being, so at least I get some love and validation and sense of importance when I'm in this high achiever successful role. And it becomes a trap. It becomes a trap because the whole life is about that. It's about achieving. There's identity that gets developed, that's now I'm this high achieving successful person. So anything that's the opposite of that is not accepted in oneself and just not allowed in personality. And there's such a tremendous fear of failure that's developed in people like me and my clients who are high achievers because it's just, you just can't allow it in your system. It doesn't feel it feels very shameful. There's a lot of shame about when you're not performing, when you're not succeeding, when you're not achieving. And so your whole identity is wrapped up about being this high achieving, successful person. And I remember when I was in college and I knew I was good at, I moved to US. I was about 20. I went to college here and I knew that I wanted to take some some like language courses or English courses, but I was so terrified that I'm gonna fail that I only was taking courses that I knew I was good at. So I couldn't even even experience myself as like not good at something because it was so intolerable to my system that I kept taking this calculus courses that I knew I'm gonna nail because I was good at math. But it doesn't see how it doesn't let you to really do what you want because you're constantly measuring and thinking about the result. And anything that you not good at or you're not gonna nail, you're not gonna do because you just can't allow it. It's gonna feel so bad, so shameful. You're gonna reject yourself so much in it. So you're only playing safe. You're only knowing what you're only going for what you know you're gonna be good at. So can you imagine how it limits your exploration, how it's not allowing you to do things you want to try because of that fear, like I'm not going to be good, I'm going to fail, and it's going to be shameful, and I won't tolerate it. So it just puts you like in this little box. Basically, like it's either academic, if you think it's academics, then it feels it's going to just be this academic race, um, or I guess sports can be another one. But then what happens when you get to real world? So you're kind of like you're good at school, right? If you have this type of personality and structure, and the I will call it like compensation, right? Because your real need is not met for love and acceptance, for unconditional love and acceptance. So you develop this performative identity that's a mask that gets your need met for some attention and love and validation. And then things are not really that things can't work out sort of for you at school. And then once you get to work, then you're gonna keep achieving, keep trying to achieve. Okay, so I'm gonna achieve this position and I'm gonna achieve this promotion, right? But every time you achieve it, it's like you only focus on achievement, but you're missing the whole process and the enjoyment of the work because you're not even concerned about that. You're not concerned about like even I wasn't even concerned when I was choosing my own career. First time, I wasn't even concerned about liking my job. I wasn't concerned about for it to be meaningful. I was just concerned it's gonna be safe. My parents approve of it. It's something that people value in society, and I'm gonna make money. So that's gonna give me safety. And I went for accounting career, and because I was like, well, I'm good at math, so I'm probably gonna be good at that. And I hated it. And I hated it so much. It was the worst career for me. It was just so not me. But I did it because I was not knowing myself. So this is a lot of high achievers do. They go for something that looks good on the outside, some job title or career like a lawyer or finance, right? It looks good on the outside. It creates the social status. It gives them power, money. But it's like it doesn't feel like anything. So empty inside. And if you do that kind of thing, you're in this role and it's like you're dead inside. You don't like it. You're not connecting. It's not aligned for you. You're not connected to who you are. You don't even know who you are because you're constantly chasing the outward look. You only focus on how it looks from the outside. You don't even know how it feels on the inside at first. You're so disconnected from it. And I was disconnected from him too, and that's how I started. And I luckily, thank God, I'm so grateful that I had my quarter life crisis at 26. I got severely depressed and I couldn't work. I just couldn't do it. I was just like my whole belief system crashed. Here I was told by society, by my culture, parents that, okay, you just need to get good education, you need to get a good job. And, once you get like the money and safety, you're going to be happy. No. And I got there likely sooner rather than later. And I was like, no, I'm not happy. I want to die. This does not feel good. I don't feel alive at all I'm doing at work is I'm waiting for the lunch so I can eat something, and then I'm waiting for the coffee break, and then I'm waiting for it to end, and then I'm waiting for to go to home so I can watch some television and escape reality for 2 hours, and then I'm just waking up the next day and dreading the day as it is, and then I'm just waiting for the weekend, and I live a little bit on the weekend, and then on Sunday I like want to kill myself because I don't want to go to work, and uh, I feels like hell, and I was like 26. So luckily for me, even though it was a difficult process, but it helped me to realize that that's not how I want to live my life. That's not how it's just not gonna work, right? It like no, no. And I started realizing that the high achievement thing, that the sort of urge for achievement has led me there to this outcome. And it's a lot of my clients. So also with this life, I also want to talk about what kind of client I work with and what kind of client I'm calling in right now. And if you listen to this and you recognize yourself or your partner, somebody you can recognize them, that you can send it to me and we'll have a free call and talk about it, because then I can give you sort of the process how to turn your life around, because that's real suffering when you chase this achievement, outward success, and you get to a point of life when your life should look good on paper, but inside you feel dead. Usually, I mean, that's tremendous suffering, tremendous. It's like, why do it? And then you 40, 45, 50 sometimes, and then you like waking up and you realizing your life is you closer to, the other end of life. And it's not gonna get better unless you do something about it. Then that's a real wake up call when you realize, wait a second, that's the only life I have for now. I don't know. I might not get it a second chance. And this is it. Like, this is it. This is what it's going to be like. This is how I'm going to feel about this. And it's only getting worse by the time we 40, 42, mid 40s. It's the energy that we had in when you were younger, just the natural body energy starts to decline. And if you're not riding on purpose energy, so like purpose has its own energy, and it's sort of when you live in your purpose, it gives you energy. When you follow what's meaningful, it gives you energy. It energizes you. And it not if not, then your energy just starts to decline. Then that's I don't know about you, but that's not the life I would want to live in my 40s and 50s. I want to be alive. I want to be energized. I want to wake up and I want to be like, I'm excited to live this day. And it hasn't been the case for me for really, for a long time. Well, for the definitely when I was focusing on achievement and I was working that accounting job in New York City, that was probably the worst of it, and that's what I got really depressed and started going to therapy and doing my own work and starting to realizing, oh, wait a second, there's not only like achievement and something that I can, put in my resume is like, I achieved this award. I'm actually a human being. I actually like, oh, wait a second. I have feelings. I'm like, I'm real. I have dreams. I have hopes. I'm a human being. I matter. It matters how I feel. It matters how I feel every day. In fact, I'm important. I have, I make an influence with my energy on this planet. And it matters what kind of energy I bring in into my life. And now I have kids and I'm influenced them, three of them, every day with my energy. So it matters how I feel. I want to be, I don't want to be dreading this life, waiting until this day I'll be free from it. I like, no, I don't, what's the point of that? Like, screw that. And so for me, it did lead to, and then after my accounting job, I switched. I worked at Google quite some time, 5 years. But I was doing also masters in counseling psychology that brought me great meaning, and I still love it. I still love this profession. So, so this path, right? So if you are a person who was focused on on high achievement, and was focusing on this next goal, like next promotion, next job, next something, and maybe on outside your life looks good, and people, jealous. Like people were so jealous. I worked at Google, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're leaving," it's crazy. But if it's not meaningful to you, then it doesn't matter how it looks. If it feels empty inside, then it's not worth it. I don't think it is. And then this journey that I have for clients like this starts with really connecting to themselves through certain practices, through certain awareness, and really that's a lot of self-reflection, it's a lot of learning about themselves. And what they discover usually is that they are living from a place of obligation, a should obligation, something they have to do, something that society expects them, their parents expect them, something their own inner critic expects them. But it's not really connected to their own aliveness. And a lot of times they might be looking for purpose, but it's a very like heady way, like to find your purpose. It's kind of like you're trying to figure it out in your head, and it cannot be found. Your purpose cannot be found in your head. It can only be like a calling or feeling or something you follow. It's like there's a book by Bert Hellinger. It's called The River Doesn't Ask for Direction. And it just means that when you connected to the flow of life and aliveness and energy that flows through you, you don't need to know your ultimate, like where you're gonna end up, right? Like where's the river gonna, I don't know, enter the ocean. But you just flow with life in a way that feels good. And have you noticed that like when you're feeling good, when you're feeling this energy and aliveness, and you not necessarily need to know your purpose. It's just you can feel good in the moment. So that's that's the process, is really to for us to connect to this ourselves and this life in ourselves. And a lot of times people who are high achievers, who live from this, they live from the place of obligation and should. And it's like the least alive place in us. It's usually, it's kind of like this heavy, like like if you just tune into obligation, how obligation feel in your body. It's like it's like I feel it on my shoulders, and you can like even tell that people who carry a lot of obligation, they'll have certain postures with the shoulders. But it's like, yeah, it's a lot of heaviness on your shoulders. It's like this like ugh, ugh, something that's like bringing you closer to the ground. And yeah, it's not a fun place to live for sure. It's very, very heavy. It's not that alive. And so part of this process for clients who, well, and I think I put in notes here, I just put like empty versus real success, was like authentic success. So if you call like empty success is that looks good on the outside, having that title, working for a great company, being, having like a leadership position, like basically that's something that looks good from outside, but feels really empty and dead inside. It's just kind of like this very, yeah, very empty life that could look good on the outside. So we can call it like empty success, and that could be not necessarily about work. Mine was more work focused, but I guess it could be like a relationship. Like you want your partner to look certain way, have certain qualities, but it's not really about connection and love. It's just more about like status, power, money. And at some point, it's just, you start realizing, it doesn't like feel good. It's not feeling fulfilling. So that's what I call like empty, right? Like empty success. And when we talk about real success, because maybe we still want to be successful, like I still want to be successful. I want my practice to be successful. I want to have clients. I want to have an impact. I want to be successful, but it comes from a different place now. It's not about like focusing how it looks. It's more about how I feel and my state of being. And I'm not willing to sacrifice my state of being for how it looks. Like if something doesn't feel right, doesn't feel aligned, even though it will make me successful, it's like, well, probably not going to do it. Willing to check. I hope I'm not going to do it because I know that, uh, ultimately having the outward success is not guarantee that I'll be feeling this aliveness and alignment, and this aliveness and alignment and feeling of aliveness is, to me, that's real success. To me, that's what this is all about. To me, that's what, when I'm dying and I'm at my last breath, and I'll be like, well, that was a good life. I was really alive. And I showed my kids how to be alive. I like follow, I was alive. I was like, and I feel like it's finally happening in my life. Like on Friday night, we were singing karaoke with my family, and my toddler was like running around. It was just, I don't know. It feels like I feel like I'm here where it just it's starting to feel like so good, so alive. It's what I was, what wanted really to this. Like this is how I wanted to feel. And for uh, authentic success, right? I still want to be successful, but it just comes motivation comes from a different place, and and I'm enjoying the process. So that's another thing. It's like I'm really more focused about the process than result. Like I'm doing this live right now, and I'm just really enjoying how I feel talking about it. It's because I'm really passionate about it. Uh, and whether or not, and before I wouldn't be even like, well, why to do this live? Nobody's gonna watch it, blah, 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 blah. So even when I left corporate and started doing therapy, there was still so many layers of this like high achievement conditioning to work through to get to this point. Like it's still so that's why I developed my own process, because I don't want people to spend 15 years on this. Why, you can go to therapy, you can work on this on your own for 15 years, but why do it if I have a process that I can condense and give it to you, and it's gonna give you like a year instead of 15 years, right? If I already figured out some shortcuts. And that's one of the things that I'm a therapist by profession, by training, and I love it. And yet I'm now developing my own curriculum, my own courses, and my own programs that will give you like shortcuts that you're not gonna, the therapist doesn't, therapy is more like we follow the client, we follow where the client processes go. And so it's not very directive and it's great. And for some things, I think you kind of need some direction. And it's a different process. It's not a psychotherapeutic process, then it's more about like, I guess, coaching and course. It's more about course. Um, so I have something like that for if you want to do this process from having an empty, for having a life that feels very, very empty to coming to your aliveness and feeling energized in your life. So I have my own process that we can do. And I'll drop a link below this live where you can register for a call where we get to connect and talk about this. If you're interested in doing this process and interested in coming to a place where you feel more alive and more energized by life, and you just started feeling kind of like, you know, wah 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 wah, like it's just dragging, like your life is dragging. Um, yeah. Uh, okay, let's see if anything else comes up about this. Yeah, I guess that's what and everybody now can define their own success, what success looks like for them. But for me, successful life is when I have enough. Well, first of all, successful life is when I feel full and alive. That's probably number one for me criteria. It's like I start to notice where if I'm losing the energy and aliveness, then I'm out of alignment and I need to get back to alignment and what I want, following what I want, taking care of myself. So it becomes a lot about really this practice of staying connected to yourself, hearing yourself, attuned to yourself, taking care of yourself so you can be alive and then fulfill your purpose. But your purpose needs to come after you've done that because your purpose is a natural expression of your energy. But if you're not connected to your own energy and aliveness, then it's not going to come from some idea or some hat or somebody not going to give it to you. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna drop those resources below. I hope this was helpful for some of you who might be um at that stage where it feels empty and kind of like meh, blah. And I get it, like I think it's really just gets sometimes really hard and dark and yeah, it's real suffering and I have a lot of compassion for that. And I want people to know that there is a way out and there is a way to do this where you could have something different. Absolutely. I see people do it every day and it's amazing. It's inspiring and there's absolutely a way to do it. All right. I'm gonna end this and I'll see you tomorrow for another life.